Hey guys, welcome back to Unbelievable English. Today, we're going to be talking about a game called Fertility. Fertility. This is a game set in ancient Egypt, which is a hot and sunny place. And in this game, we're going to be doing a bunch of things. But the big thing we're going to do is we're going to be essentially playing dominoes. That game is when you match two liked tiles next to each other. And we're going to be doing that in this game. We're going to be matching like tiles, and we're going to be collecting the resources on those tiles. So in this game, we can collect alabaster, which is a stone used to make monuments and statues. We're going to be collecting grapes. We're going to be collecting papyrus. We're going to be collecting wheat. And we're going to be collecting cows. And when we collect all of those things, in this game we do something really special. We have to use them right away. In most resource management games, you don't do that. You can hold on to your resources. In this game, when you get a resource, you have to use it right away or you're going to lose it. There's one exception to that, but we'll talk about that when we talk about the game a little bit more deeply. This is a really fun game. It's pretty fast, it's pretty easy, so let's take a look at the components and how to play. Okay guys, let's talk about the components for fertility. So the first thing I want to show you are the dominoes. So here is a fertility domino that has cows and papyrus on it. And so when you put this out on the board, you would have to match it to another spot where at least one of those is present. So I could match papyrus to papyrus, or I could match cows to cows in any combination like that. What I can't do is I can't go papyrus to alabaster like that. That doesn't work. So here are the dominoes. This is what they look like. This is our starting card, our starting tile, and that's always going to sit here in the middle of the board. The resources in this game are grapes, alabaster, papyrus. Papyrus is a plant indigenous to Egypt, and cows. The cows are my favorite. These are the market tiles. The market tiles are what you can buy with the resources after you get them on a turn. The cost, if there is a cost, is in the top corner. And then there are spots to put your resources in what the game calls market stalls that will give you things. So if you can get a grape and a papyrus into this stall, then you'll have one god statue for the end of the game. We'll talk about that later. That has to do with scoring. And if you can get a grape here, then you'll get 2 points. On the main board, there are a couple of important things to see. First of all, the wheat sections are important because they will give you wheat. Here's your wheat marker. I'll show you this. This is your wheat marker from your player board. And every time you put a domino next to a wheat, you will get 1 wheat. It's very straightforward. So if I were to put this domino here, and I can do that because of the grape, if I do that, I would get 1 grape on this turn, and I would get 1 wheat as well, just like that. So the wheat is like a wild resource that you can use to buy things. But if you can keep your wheat, it's worth points at the end of the game, depending on how much wheat you have. So you might want to not spend your wheat. On the player board, there are a couple. On the main board, there are a couple of other things to see. First of all, you can never cover up water. So I can't do that. That doesn't work. I can't cover up water. Whenever I cover up a picture of a resource, I will get that resource. So here, if I were to, let's do it with this one. If I were to cover up this alabaster, if I were to say use my alabaster next to this alabaster and then cover up that alabaster, even though I'm covering it up with a cow, it doesn't matter what I cover it up with. If I cover a symbol, then I will get that resource. So on this turn, I would get one alabaster and I would get another alabaster. I would get two alabaster on that turn. Here I would get a cow, a grape, and so on. Papyrus. I cannot cover up the wheat. And there's one other important thing to note, and that is if I can create an empty spot that cannot be filled. Let's see if I can do that for you. Let's say, well, that doesn't work at all. Let's give you an example. So if I can get my cow here, and then on the next turn somebody else did this. Now this is an okay move, because what they've done is they've matched the papyrus. Even though there's a grape here, that's okay. The papyrus is matching. So if they did that, and then on the next turn I did this. Now first of all, I would get two grapes. I would get one grape for matching my grapes, and then I would cover up that, so I would get another grape. But importantly, I would have this empty space that I had created. And this space can't be filled. There's water here that can't be covered. So what would happen is I could either place one of my monuments, and my monuments for this game are sphinxes. My opponent, Gugu, is using temples. I could put my monument there, and that would be something that could get me a lot of points at the end of the game. The person who has the most monuments on the board at the end of the game is going to get 15 points. And the person with the second most would get 7. So that's a lot of points. So getting your monuments onto the board is a big deal. And this is my monument. There are 4 different kinds of monuments. There's the Sphinx. There's the temple I just showed you. There are pyramids. And there are obelisks. The obelisks are just big, pointy statues. Let's see. There are pictures of obelisks. Here we go. This is an obelisk being carved out of alabaster right here in this picture. So we've got a pretty good look at our main board. We've got a pretty good look at our dominoes. We've got a pretty good look at our player board. Let's look at the player board again and see all the different places on the player board. So here's my wheat track. So my wheat is going to sit here. And every time I get a new wheat, it's going to shift over 1. I can use my wheat to buy market tiles, which I'll show you in a minute. But first, here's my monument scoring reminder. If I have the most monuments, I'll get 15 points. Second most is 7. Here is my God statue tracker. At the end of the game, for every different God statue that I have, I'll get more points. So if I can get 4 different God statues, I'll get 18 points, which is pretty high. Up here, here's the beginning market on my player board. If I can get any one of the 4 resources on this tile, I'll get 2 points. And remember, once you put a resource down, you can't move it again. If I can put a cow here, I can get one of the other resources. And if I can put a grape here, I'll just get 1 wheat. So my wheat track would move up. And here, if I can get a papyrus and an alabaster, I'll get 1 random god, whichever god I want, statue. And then here are spots for my market tiles. So let's take a look at those market tiles. We already saw one. Let's look at this market tile. This is a free market tile. It does something interesting. It gives us a god, if we can get a god statue, if we can put a grape there, and we can trade grapes for wheat. So I put one grape here, I get one wheat on my wheat track. And I can do that twice. And these all look very different. They do different things. Let's look at two more. One alabaster for this bird god statue, and 2 papyrus for 7 points. That's a pretty valuable tile, so you have to pay 1 resource to get it. And here, if I pay 2 resources for this tile, and if I can put 3 papyrus on this, then every papyrus on my player board is going to give me 3 points at the end of the game. That's pretty great. And those are the components for the game, guys. That's it. In this game, we are trying to build the most successful market in our player board. We're trying to collect wheat. And this is a really important point. When I collect resources, when I use my dominoes and I collect resources from the board, so on that move I would get 1 grape and I would get 1 wheat. The wheat I'll have until I use it, but the grape I have to use that turn. I cannot hold on to the grape between turns. I have to spend it immediately. So maybe I would take this market tile and put the grape on it to get 2 points at the end of the game. Or maybe I would put it here to try to get this lion god statue. Or maybe I would put it up here to get 1 more wheat. And that turn would give me 2 wheats. But I have to spend my resources. I have to use them immediately. And once I use them, I can't move them again. So let's take a couple of turns and look at some gameplay. So we've got our game set up. And the way the game plays is very straightforward. When it's your turn, and I'll go first, Gugu doesn't mind, you take your domino, you start the game with 3 dominoes, and you put it out on the board wherever you want, as long as it's touching at least one other of the same suit. We'll call them suits. So in this case, I could touch my papyrus to the papyrus on the starting tile here. I cannot just go and cover up something. That doesn't work. That's not the same. I would have to touch another tile with the same resource on it. So I'm going to go papyrus to papyrus. And because I did that, I will get 1 papyrus, but I will also get 1 alabaster for covering up that alabaster. So I'll take my papyrus, I'll take my alabaster, and I get to choose one market tile if I want to add to my player board. And I am going to add a market tile. I would really like both of these. This is really valuable because if I can get all 3 papyrus, then I'm going to get a lot of points for all of the papyrus on my board. It's kind of expensive though. 2 is really expensive, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to spend both of the resources I just got. I'll put them back, and I'm going to buy that card, that market tile, and add it to my player board. And then in the future, I'm going to try to fill it up. So now I'm looking for papyrus. I'm trying to get as much papyrus as I can in this game. I don't have any more resources, so I can't put anything else on my board. But now I'm going to choose a new tile from these piles here. And this is the counter for the game. The game ends when we run out of these tiles. Run out of these dominoes. When somebody can't have a 3rd domino in their hand, the game is over. I'm going to take maybe this domino. It's the same one that I used, but it's got a papyrus and a cow on it. I'll put that into my hand, and now it's Gugu's turn. And Gugu's going to look at what's available. Oh, and we have to flip over another market tile. Oh, alabaster. And we're going to flip over another one of these. Ooh, lots of cows. Okay. And Gugu is going to use her cow and grape domino, and she's going to put it next to the starting tile, and she's going to get one cow because they're next to each other, and she's going to get one wheat for being next to a wheat. So she'll move that tracker up. She'll take a cow, and for this turn, let's see, what is it she would like? I think she's going to spend that cow to buy this tile. All right. All right, so Gugu has bought her tile. We're going to flip over a new one for the next round. Oh, that's great for me. I would love to have that one. And it's my turn. And now we already know that I'm trying to get as much papyrus as I can, but I also have to be careful and just play smart. So let's see what I would like to do. Here's a good move. I'm going to use this papyrus and grape, and I'm going to put it here like this. And by doing that, I've put my papyrus next to a papyrus, and I've put my grape next to a grape. I haven't covered anything up, but because both of the sides of the domino are touching the same kind of resource, I will get one of each. So I'm going to get a papyrus, and I'm going to get a grape. And I'm going to immediately put that papyrus up here to try to trigger that scoring ability. And then I've got my grape. I can get a market tile if I'd like to. And I think I'm going to keep going with my papyrus kind of engine here, my papyrus resource engine. So I'm going to take this papyrus marker, and this says if I can put one papyrus here, then I will get 1 point for every papyrus on my board. So I'm really trying to get as much papyrus as I can now. And I'll put that on my board. It didn't cost me anything to do it, and I still have a grape. So I'm going to use that grape, and I'm going to put that grape here on my board on that top slot to gain 1 wheat. That's the end of my turn. I have to take a new tile, a new domino. And I think I'm going to take, let's see. Well, I'm going to try to take this one with more papyrus on it, frankly, because I'm a papyrus fiend now. I love papyrus. We'll flip over a new one, and it'll be Gugu's turn. And, oh, Gugu didn't take it to hold on a second. At the end of Gugu's turn, Gugu didn't take a new tile. So Gugu's looking at what she has and what she wants. And she says, oh, Adam, no, you can't have that. I want that. So Gugu's taking the cow on the papyrus tile. And now I have to take one. We'll flip this over. And I'm going to choose, well, this is less fun. This is much less fun. I'm going to choose this alabaster and cow. And now we're back to being Gugu's turn, and Gugu's seeing just how much alabaster there is for points here. So maybe she'll try to do something with that. So Gugu, let's see. Gugu's got this tile, and this tile has an alabaster and a cow on it, and that's going to fit really nicely right here because she's matching her alabaster and her cow. So she'll get one of each. She'll get an alabaster and a cow. And on this turn, she is simply going to take this free tile that allows her to change alabaster into wheat and allows her to get this, I don't know, this random god statue. She's going to put that in her, on her player board, and she's going to be able to place both of these. So she's going to place her cow here to get 1 wheat. And she's going to place her alabaster here to get another wheat. So she's really doing well with her wheat track. She's going to choose a new domino tile, and she does not want me to have papyrus. She'd rather have alabaster, but there's no alabaster available here. So she's going to take that grape and papyrus domino. That's called hate drafting. That's not very nice. And then it's my turn. And ooh, I've got some good options here. None of them get me a lot of papyrus right off the bat, although that's not a bad move. Let's see. What can I do? I'm gonna... Now this would get me more. Yeah, let's just do this. I'm going to use my cow and alabaster tile, even though it's not papyrus. And I'm going to put that here. And I'm doing that for a very specific reason. I'm doing that because it gives me a lot of stuff. So by putting this here, I've matched cows, so I'll get a cow. I've matched alabaster, so I'll get an alabaster. And I'm next to a wheat in one spot, so I will get one wheat. So that's one cow, one alabaster, and one wheat. That is a really nice move. And now I have some resources to use. I'm going to choose, probably not surprisingly, I'm going to choose this papyrus market tile to add to my board. It doesn't cost me anything, it's a free one. I'll put that out on my board, and now I have a cow and an alabaster to use. I'm going to use my cow here, and that lets me change to one other resource, and I'm going to choose, again, not surprisingly, a papyrus, which I'll put on my board here, trying to finish this tile. And now I have an alabaster that I can use. And I have to use it this turn or I will lose it. So I'm going to put it here to try to get that mystery god later on. Then I'm going to choose a new tile. I guess I'll choose these two cows, even though I don't love cows right now. I guess I'll choose the cows. We'll flip that over, and it's Gugu's turn. Oh, we've got to get a new market tile as well. And Gugu is going alabaster crazy. Let's see what she can do. I think Gugu is going to take this tile, and she's going to go here like this. And by doing that, she gets one alabaster, and now she has two tiles touching wheat. So she'll get two wheat, which is really great, and she'll get one alabaster. And does she want anything? You know what? I think she will. I think she's going to pay to. She's going to follow my lead. Most of the time, this doesn't really happen in this game. It's just the way the tiles are coming out. But she's going to pay 2 wheat to get this alabaster tile, and she's going to try to focus on getting alabaster in her market this time. And she'll take her alabaster and put that right there to try to finish that quickly. She'll take a new tile, and of course she'll take the cow and alabaster. And now it's my turn. Ooh, double alabaster there. Again, I would like papyrus more than anything else. So I'm going to go back to trying to collect some papyrus. I'm going to come over here with my papyrus and grape, and I'm going to put it here. Now this is really good for me. I'm going to get one papyrus because I'm touching a papyrus with my papyrus, and I've covered a papyrus. So I will get another papyrus that way. So I'm going to collect 2 papyrus this turn. And let's see what my market choices are. Ooh, 9 points is pretty high. Okay, I'm going to spend 1 wheat to get this market tile. Both because if I can fill this up, I'll get 9 points, and because it's got a papyrus there. I'll put this here. Now, I don't score for uncovered papyruses, but for every papyrus I put out on the board, I will score. So I'm going to put a papyrus here, and that's great for me. I have finished this tile, So at the end of the game, I will get 3 points for every papyrus on my board. And now I'm going to put another papyrus here, and I'm going to get even more. I'm going to get 4 points for every papyrus on my board. And let's just do maybe one more round, just to show you a couple more things. So I'll choose this papyrus and cow domino. And then it would be Gugu's turn. And Gugu wants alabaster, doesn't she? Gugu wants alabaster, but I really want to show you something else as well. So let's do this. Gugu is going to take her cow and alabaster domino, and she's going to place it right here. And this is a great move for her. She'll get 1 cow for covering the cow. She'll get another cow for touching another cow. And she'll get a wheat for touching the wheat. So that's 2 cows and a wheat. She's doing very well. And really importantly, she has created a spot that can't be filled. And now she has a choice. She can put her monument out on the board, which will potentially give her points at the end of the game, or she can take 1 resource of whatever she wants for doing that. I think she's going to put that temple out here. That's 15 points. If she has the most monuments on the board at the end, that's a lot. So she's doing that, and now she has 2 cows that she can use. Let's see what her monument, what her options are. Cows there are no cows out. Oh no, Gugu. Well, that was a mistake. But I wanted to show you how to do this. So now Gugu's in trouble because she has 2 cows that she really can't use. She can put one of her cows here, which will get her 2 points at the end of the game. But this cow, there's nothing for her to do. There's nowhere on her board she can put it. She needs alabaster and papyrus and grapes. So she's just going to lose this cow. It's going to go back into the resource pool, and that's the end of her turn. So not a great turn for Gugu. And now it's my turn. And I think we'll stop here. So, scoring points at the end of the game. The number of different god statues that you have in your market at the end will give you different amounts of points. The amount of wheat you have will give you different amounts of points. And for every completed kind of shop in your market, you'll get points based on whatever that is. Sometimes they just give you wheat. Sometimes they'll give you a god, like up here, if you can fill the market. But sometimes they give you points. So when you combine up all of your points, you'll have a winner. And that's how we play Fertility. Hope to see you back here soon at Unbelievable. Bye, guys.